Good morning, Freedom Team. Welcome to Wednesday Connect to Collaborate. This is obviously the opportunity for all of us to come together kind of around the water cooler. And this is for you guys and for any of us that have questions. If you want to share some success, some good news, but it's really for us to help guide you with any questions you may have about EXP, about a listing, about what you might be dealing with a buyer. Any kind of questions at all. This is obviously open for all of us. You got Melanie jumping in. We definitely don't want to be a waste of time for you guys. So we don't have anything necessarily to talk about and roll out. So anybody have any questions, comments, or ma'am, just want to share maybe an awesome success story? Well, I know you guys came on here this morning. I don't know if you came just to kind of listen in. This isn't necessarily a training, right? So this is a Q&A, ask questions, anything we can help with at all. Otherwise, we can save everybody a bunch of time today. We'll give you about another 5, 10 minutes. Yeah. And if no one has any questions, comments, obviously we don't want to keep everybody here just staring at each other's. So you guys let us know here in the next few. We'll let a few more come in. Most of the leaders are tied up. We've got a few of them at the training out in Arizona. I think Kelly's on vacation in Europe, I think, for 3 weeks. So most people are, which is awesome, but everybody's just kind of tied up. So Bill and I are here to see if we can help things kind of keep moving along. But hello, Miss Tina. Thank you for jumping on. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful. Did you just come to listen in, or do you have any
Yes,
questions? Okay.
I have lots of questions, but a lot of it, I just listen.
Well, if you got questions, throw them out. We can see if we can all kind of help and participate and get the ball rolling.
What do you do if you have sellers and buyers that come to within $15,000 of each other and then they both decide, I think we'll just wait because interest rates are going to go down. I'm tired of the the media
Yeah,
boasting
yeah,
the interest rates are going down and they won't impact mortgages as much as these folks, and I try to educate them. But
yeah.
I've got one deal that's fallen apart because they're $15,000 apart, which no way would I lose a deal over that. But they're believing that something's going to change. So how are you guys feeling about that?
Well, it's interesting you just said that. I just refied. Matter of fact, I was doing it last night at 10 o'clock. I just did a refi. Could have locked in at 5.5, but the same thing I did about a year ago. I locked in at 5.9 and it only cost me $1,500. I'll saving $400 a month. So in my fourth month, I'll make my money back. I'm doing that because they keep thinking the rate's going to drop. So instead of going as low as it'll go, I go a little higher and it only costs me about $1,500, make all my money back. But it's saving me $400 a month. Are you hearing from what you're hearing about the interest rates? I heard it could go down maybe a small amount, another one or two ticks in the next month or
Yep.
two. But other than that, I'm hearing it's probably going to be when the new Fed comes in next April. So I don't
Yeah,
know how much it's
I
going to move.
believe that. I believe that. I'm having a hard time. I give them my opinion, of course, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty knowledgeable, and have a pretty good credentials. But the challenge is they're believing it. They're believing that somehow before December things are going to change, and I believe that it's not. I just like to hear if anybody else is feeling the same way. I don't believe it's going to change dramatically before December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
And
guys
I'm going
just see
to,
the latest jobs report this morning where there was over 900,000 jobs adjustment
Yeah,
down?
they can't get it right.
They can't get it right. So why does anybody believe this
I
nonsense?
don't. I don't.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just I'm listening to this and go, oh well, it could be down this, September, October, and November, and I'm like going, who the Kool-Aid is must be really strong back there.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how is everybody dealing with their clients when it comes to the interest rate? Kind of like Tina's saying, how's that conversation going? Is there anything you're saying that can make them feel comfortable to make them move forward now versus waiting? Does anybody have any way they can help with that? No one's having conversations with their buyers or sellers regarding the interest rate?
Well,
My
I'm telling them what I know,
yeah.
but they're not listening. They're believing that it's going to drop. When they hear somebody say 1 basis point, they're hearing 1% or 2%. And I'm just having a hard time knowing what to say to get them to understand that I don't think it'll be dramatic. And I think the incentives will go away if it were to be dramatic. So
Yeah.
why wait?
Can you do the math for them to show the difference? Doesn't it sometimes doesn't amount to, dinner out one night a month?
Yep, I
Uh,
definitely do that.
yeah, and they're still not buying it? Good Lord. Stubborn people you got there, girl.
Well, like I say, I got that example of a deal that they came within 15,000, and these are in the $500,000 range.
Right.
They came within 15,000, and they both cited independently evidence that they were going to wait because they feel like interest rates are going to come down. I said, well, what does that have to do with anything? That's what I said. And I said, and I personally don't believe they're going to adjust that dramatically, but what would that make a difference?
Yeah. It's a great question. Anybody else have any feedback on that, on how they're dealing with the interest rates with your clients?
Hi, it's Melanie Dye calling
Yeah,
out in
Melanie,
California. Hi, good morning.
good morning.
Part of the conversation that I try to have and the difficulty is it starts to sound really salesy. And so I say that up front. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to have the conversation. But if interest rates come down, especially that much, it's going to change the market and it'll be a frenzy again. And do they really want to be involved in a frenzy market where there's multiple offers, et cetera?
That's a
So,
great
you
point.
know, if they get in now and they do come down that much, you can always refinance because not only will there be a frenzy, but then there's a chance that prices will go up on
Exactly.
properties.
Yeah. Hey,
So
have you
that can
had
be
that
part
kind
of the
of,
conversation.
yeah, no, that's a good point. Have you had that
Mhm.
discussion, Tina, that yeah, if you guys wait and the interest rates go down, yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of buyers now all coming in. It's probably gonna drive the price up.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. And on new construction, I think the incentives will go away. I don't think we're seeing
uh,
great incentives on the large home builder, quasi spec homes, but large home builders here on the coast have tremendously good incentives and buy downs for interest rates. And those I think will go away if the interest rates were to adjust. So I use that as well. But I've had several that have mentioned that, but they're just not believing it. They are truly believing when they hear that the Fed may drop at a half basis or a quarter, or they're gonna. There was a news media outlet that reported it would adjust October, November, and September, October, November would adjust each month. I don't believe it. I mean, am I wrong in that feeling?
yeah, I haven't heard that. Anybody else hear that? That it could even go down in October and November? Where are you getting that info from? What news media outlets pushing that?
It was just on Haystack News this morning when they were talking about the jobs report and about this big adjustment from April of last year to the end of March this year, how the adjustment was so great. And if those numbers had been correct to begin with, things would have changed already. If I think one of the comments was if they'd had this information already, interest rates would have changed back in June. But a lot of that too is it's just speculation. They're just the pontiffs that are the economists of various stations are just putting in their 2 cents. So like Tina said, we don't know. That's the kicker. And if it happens, fabulous, refinance your house.
Yeah,
Like she's running up a brick wall, and I think all of us are in one form or another. I mean, that was the big thing back in 2021 and 2022. Interest rates were great, but my God Almighty, everybody was paying 50 to 100,000, $200,000 in my neck of the woods more for a house. No appraisals,
yeah,
no loan, no. They were just paying it. They didn't care. They just wanted a house. And if that's, I guess Tina remind them, remember what happened, and the horror stories that happened, just 3 years ago, just 4 years ago. Do you want to be in that position where you're not, $15,000 will be nothing
yeah.
to get
I,
to
I
pay
think
for
you can
a
talk
house?
about also just the pent up demand right now. Everybody's just kind of on the fence waiting. So if those interest rates all of a sudden do start to go down, I think you guys are right. Buyers will come out of the woodwork, drive the price up. So, and I don't know if I heard you guys say, I just refied yesterday. I could have locked in at 5.5, but I locked in at 5.9 and it cost me $1,500 and it saved me 400 a month. So in 4 months, I got my money back instead of going down to the lower. because I am expecting maybe by next April it could drop. But yeah, to do a refi and have your money back in 3 to 4 months. Anyway, this is a great conversation because right now I'm sure that's what's holding almost everybody back. A good chunk of people not moving forward. I saw you, Blanca, just came on. Thank you for jumping on camera, dear. Do you have any feedback on what's going on with your clients when it comes to why they're not moving forward if they're waiting on the interest rates? Are you having that conversation with your clients?
Yes, what we did is Sean called the loan officer of this last client that had that issue and told the loan officer to, like, he asked the loan officer, are you recasting anything? What are you offering the clients for later?
Yeah.
And the loan officer said yes. Down, like, if they buy now and down the road, whenever those things change, we will refinance for free.
Oh, oh, hey, there's an answer.
So that's the answer. So we're telling people, buy now, don't compete. And we are talking to the loan officers and making sure that we don't need to tell people what to do. If we just come back and say, I just talked to your loan officer from the beginning,
Yeah.
your loan officer is going to give you the zero, down the road, and that they'll be excited. We're not having any issues because we're addressing it from the beginning.
So did they say, would they do that for like the next year? They would do it for free refi, or did they give a time frame?
They didn't give a time. They're just going to do it. And it depends on the bank. So this is I forgot the name of this bank, but loan officers will do it. And they didn't give us like a timeline. They said we're open. So whenever that happens, we'll refinance for free.
Well, my thought is I'd almost want to get that in writing. So when I
Yeah.
sit down with the buyer, say, look, I just got through talking to the loan officer, the bank, here's what they're willing to do. You do it now. You don't want to compete with all the other buyers. The interest rate drops between now and I'd almost want to ask that bank,
2 years, 3 years, yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah, well, shoot.
Yeah, we have a bank. We've been working with this bank for years, and they've never like said something that they didn't keep. So
Yeah.
they're also competing, just like us. They're also
Sure.
trying to business. So they know that they have, in order for them to get business, they have to compete with the 100 loan officers in front of their clients.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, no, well, thank you for sharing that. Hopefully everybody could do the same thing. You might check with your loan officer, whoever you guys are dealing with, and see if they're willing to do something like that. My thought is more get that in writing. We're sitting down with the buyer. How would they not want to move forward now? If already automatically, if it goes down, they're going to refi for free. Now they're not competing against all the other buyers. Lock it in. Yeah, so I hope everybody's kind of hearing that information. You might want to go check with your loan officer in the bank and kind of see if they have anything like that in place. I don't know why the buyer would be hesitant. If that was a true statement in writing, I'd move forward immediately as a buyer, knowing
No,
I'm not competing.
that's the point. Actually, I just thought about it. I'm going to ask him to send me a flyer.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you know how they have to go through their legal departments to make flyers. So I'm going to ask him to send us a flyer so we can start promoting that.
yeah. No, thank you for sharing. Good, good, good. Well, again, welcome everybody. Somebody that just jumped on. Again, our Connect to Collaborate. This is obviously for all of us here. Any questions, anything you want to share, comments, anything?
So I don't know if this will help, but I asked ChatGPT, right? And it says, be empathetic. We understand. Compared to 2-3% that the rates were before, it could seem it's a little high. So here's the perspective shift, right?
Yeah.
And what matters, I like that. What matters isn't the rate, but it's your monthly payment and whether your home fits your long-term goals. And then you go into the solutions. There are programs and strategies, seller buy downs, adjustable rate mortgages, refinance if it drops later. I really love Blanca's. I'm going to speak to our loan officers.
Yeah.
And then it says many people are saying marry the house, date the rate. You can always refinance, but you can't go back and buy the same house once it's gone. So I like that.
Verbiage. Marry the house, date the rape. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Just put it to ChatGPT and give you some ideas and suggestions.
I like what he said about what they came up, before that was like, you can't get the house again for the same price. So
Yeah.
if this is the house you really want, if this is it, then let's see how we can make this work. You know, let's talk to the loan officers. Let's see what's going to happen. Because as we know, $5,000 or $6,000 extra dollars down doesn't make any real difference, in
Yeah.
the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
And it also highlights the point that what you said, if the rates drop, then buyers are going to flood the market again. So you want to get ahead of the curve.
And again, if that loan officer refi for free, there should be no hesitancy. So I think that's incredible, Blanca. If that's working with you, I would check with everybody, check with your loan officer, see if they're willing to do that. How does a buyer hesitate if they're going to refi for free? Might as well lock in right now before the frenzy starts when the interest rates do come down.
Well, loan officers are always calling us and asking us for business. So we can call them and say, what are you doing
Yeah.
to get business? And what incentives are you going to give my buyers if I send them to your way?
Yeah, I like it.
I recognize that voice anywhere. Blanca, we've missed you.
Oh, are we going to see you at the convention?
Of course. Drinks on Sean on Tuesday night at Ole
Got
Ole
it.
Steakhouse. Don't forget.
Let's do it.
We're going to be there. I do want to say two things. I was on with a couple of the brokers today at EXP. By the way, were you done with the conversation you were having, Sean? Everybody good? Okay.
Yeah, it's just all about why the buyers are hesitating right now, can't
Yeah.
get them to move forward, and she was sharing some great info. So yeah.
So there's something coming down. The next big thing NAR is going to be looking at is whether agents that represent buyers have properly completed a BBA, and it's dated properly, it aligns properly. It will be the next big lawsuit. Be aware as agents that the first time they find you not doing it, it's $1,000 fine. That's going on right now. The second time that you don't fill out the BBA properly, meaning properly dated, representing your buyer, it's a $5,000 citation. The second time, here's the crazy part. The third time that they find it, they're going to return your money to the seller. The brokerage can't even keep it because you actually represent the brokerage. And if you misrepresented because you didn't bring in a BBA, and I'm not trying to bring a negative situation to a positive conversation, but I'm trying to protect you all. If you're at all leery or fearful of using a buyer's representative agreement in any way, please don't hesitate to ask. Let's get you some training on how to do it. There's agents that have been using them for a decade, and then there's those that are afraid to use them today. And so, again, open for discussion if people need it, but that's what NAR is going to be coming down on brokerages next. But the fact that it's $1,000 fine, $5,000 fine is one thing, but imagine having to give up your entire commission the third time they find out. Now, how do they find out? Because they're going to brokerages like EXP and they're asking EXP for just agreements, a certain number of them, not a significant number, so they can just look at the files. They're auditing our files, and they're doing that with every brokerage. So that's what's coming down the pike. Any questions about that? Anybody? Not that. Here's the good news side of it. So I'm a Florida agent, and I needed to do my renewal by the end of September. That's our renewal period, March and September. I don't know where yours is nationally. But in Florida, they just passed something that allows us to go directly to the test, fill out the test, as if we went through 14 hours of continuing education. And I did 0 hours. Kaplan, a very well-known real estate training platform, capre.com, kapre.com. In the state of Florida, I paid $24.95, did not sit in any hours of anything. Went to the test and asked me 30 questions. In fact, right above each question, it said the information can be found here. You clicked on the here button. It showed you the passage in our real estate book that we don't need. And I had to read 6 sentences to decide exactly what the answer was, which we already knew the answer anyway, because the questions were incredibly easy. So I want you to know, I don't know what's going on in your states, but it's possible that they would be doing the same thing. And if Kaplan is a company in your state, they're probably going to be on the leading edge of it. So it's wild, dude. For $25, I renewed my license in no time.
Wow.
So
Interesting. Thanks for sharing. Does that happen to anybody else in their states? Have they looked into it?
our brokers didn't even know. I went to the brokers this morning. Lydia, do you have a question?
No, I was gonna say, we've got, I think it's 35 or 45 continuing hours of education. There's a group here called Career Compass. If you attend their 3-day function, which doesn't address everything because it's a lot of sales pitchy stuff in the grand scheme of things. But then you are given a connection, and then but you do have to pass each of the preliminary tests and the quizzes, and then you can turn it all in at one time. But yeah, no, it's like $199, $200 to do that. And ours is every 4 years, every 3 years, every 4 years. Yeah.
Ours is every 2. But now, I mean, literally took me 28 minutes. And so move to Florida. We don't need more realtors down here, but we need more good ones.
I was say, like, that's scary. Like people I mean, we know what we're doing, but there are people who don't know what they're doing, and they're just gonna go in there and pass the test. Like, if we don't have enough agents in the market already that don't know what.
Well, okay, they didn't know what they were doing to get their license. So what does it matter at this point, right? If you can fog a mirror and pass a test, you get in. But I agree. Collaboration Wednesday, that's what we're here for. Anybody have anything else that they picked up through training? Sean Corbett did an incredible job yesterday. Next week, don't want to forget, next Monday, I will be hosting because Sean will be cruising. Casey, now it's Jiha. What's her last name? Conroy? Something.
I didn't write it down.
She does an incredible job, and she's built a huge organization, and I'll be hosting her Monday. She'll be talking about how she connects with agents. So that's what Mondays are for. Don't forget, on Thursdays, I do a Q&A on agent attraction. Bring any questions you have. That's tomorrow. But today's here because we don't have physical offices, and we know people like physical touch. So we're here to talk about anything you want to talk about. Sometimes people just come in and listen, and it gets them close to the fire. We're happy for that. As Blanca said, we are going to be in, I'll do this quickly, paid political announcement. We will be at EXPCon in October. For the first time in 6 years, all the Freedom Team leaders will be there. And we will be at a reception on Tuesday night, 5:30 p.m. Ole Ole Steakhouse. First drink is on us. Hors d'oeuvres are on us. Come meet us. Second drink is always on Bill and Sean, so don't hesitate to ask. And anybody have any questions about anything? Sherry, you popped in. Anything you want to know today? Anything you want to talk about?
No, not off the top of my head.
Do you still feel overwhelmed about everything, or are you good?
Yeah, I'm still overwhelmed, but I experienced a little bit of feeling of burnout yesterday, and I think I'm just taking too much on, is what I'm doing.
See these eyes? This is what these eyes look like.
Yeah.
Let me say this I've had long conversations with Brent Gove. Many of you don't know this. Brent was the number 11, I think, agent in Remax nationally, and he ended up at the number 1. He was the number 1 KW agent in the country when he moved over there for his team. And he and I talk all the time. And one of the things he talks about all the time is agents spend so much time on things that are not producing dollars today. And so, Cher, I don't know where you are, and I'm trying to hopefully help, not hurt. But everybody's in the same situation. Sean and Blanca are incredible agents, but I'm going to tell them this is what Brent Gove would tell you, not me. Brent would say, you're still spending time on things you shouldn't be spending time on, and you're not spending time on things you should be. 85% of your day, that's an 8 and a 5 and a percent at the end, which means you only 15% for the rest, should be spent on generating leads and working with those leads. And if you're not spending 85% of your time doing that, you're not going to end up with enough leads. Now, some of you have the leads and you don't have to spend time generating them, but now you're working with them. And there's one thing shared before generating them is some of you don't know how to generate leads. If you don't know how to generate leads, don't lose time going to the Sky Slope convention. Okay? There's 3 ways to generate leads. One is through your sphere of influence. If you have one, it's the most beneficial way to do it. The second way is any kind of lead generating platform or concept that doesn't cost you a lot of money and isn't technology. I did a video called 7 top tips to generate leads. Did you just post that?
I just put it in. Yep.
Yep. So I interviewed 9 people over the last year, the best techniques that don't cost you a lot of money. And then the newest is the one Cesar is all over. Caesar or Cesar? Cesar sounds more royal, but I'll call you whatever you want.
It's Cesar, but Caesar's fine.
No, Caesar's not fine. Caesar's an emperor. Cesar is a master of the universe. So
Cesar.
Right now, we have some incredible things going on with lead generation and funnels. If you are somewhat technology comfortable, you don't have to be proficient, just comfortable. That is the way to go. It is working, whether it be luxury, downsizing, first-time home buyer, new construction, habla español, whatever your deal is, it works. So don't hesitate because you don't know, and don't hesitate because you're not focused. Get focused. 85% of your time, according to Brent Gove, is in generating leads or working with people who are leads. Anybody have a question? Go ahead, Cesar.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with leads coming in because of our YouTube channel. It's nurturing them. That's where, and my wife and I, we're still new in the business. This is our 3rd year, and from not knowing anything. So it's the nurturing part where we struggle. And I know Sean gave us a little bit about that's where the funnels come in and automated systems and stuff. But I'm just being real here. It's the nurturing.
Oh, dude.
Where we forget how many leads we have. And, it's like, okay, what happened to that person? We have all these leads and we don't even know.
So 3 things. First of all, thanks for being, I love this, we're in the 2000s. Thanks for being vulnerable. Thanks for opening your soul. If you don't do that, we can't help you. So understand, the minute you have a lead, it changes from generating leads to SOI. They're now in your sphere of influence. Okay? Sometimes the mechanism you use to bring the lead in also has a good CRM for your SOI. Sometimes it's better to take them out of the way they came in and move them into an SOI. I'll give you an example. I can't speak about Bold till today, but KV Core did not do a great job at generating leads, but they did an incredible job at warming them. Okay? So I want you to understand that Lofty has incredible, these are CRMs that we have here at EXP. Lofty does a great job in both, but and they're very easy to use. It's probably the easiest CRM that we have. And you can do amazing things with a website pretty simply, and their customer service is amazing. So I'm a big fan of Lofty. But when you're talking about an SOI, Cesar, I want you to know you should go to where you generated the leads. If it's through the funnel campaign, if it's through Digital President, if it's through, Cash Cow, find out if what they have is right for your leads. Now, the guy we interviewed yesterday is a guy named Sean Corbett. Sean happens to be a guy in my group. When I met his mother, who was doing yoga as I was rollerblading around a lake. That's how it happens. How do you get your biggest agents? I rollerblade around a lake. I find a woman doing yoga on a Sunday afternoon. She stops. I stop. We start talking. Find out that her son is a real estate broker with 12 agents. And he works with investors constantly. I started talking about investments that I do. I connected with Sean. Sean has moved from $6 million in 12 agents. I can't tell you how many agents he has now, but he's at $35 million a year. Okay. So I want you to understand EXP has been a good move for him, but he is an SOI specialist. What he teaches is incredible on SOI. Not expensive, incredible. Okay, here's the key on SOI: finding a program that you feel comfortable in being able to do. And in essence, it repurposes information and continues to keep you in front of your client. One way to do that, if you don't have a way to do that now, everybody should be sending out a newsletter every couple of weeks or every 4 weeks. It's new information. They can be crafted online. There are companies that do it for you. There's websites that do it for you. There's $20 a month programs that do it for you. And it's highly recommended, a newsletter every other week or every 4 weeks. Here's the good news about sending messages out. Sean's an expert on it. Sean, answer this directly. You ready? If I'm in your drip tank, if I'm in your CRM, go on microphone. If I'm in your CRM, Sean, how often am I getting an email from you?
Daily.
Ah! And you're going to say, oh my God, that's going to overwhelm people. The answer is it only overwhelms people that aren't open. Okay? Now, do I think you should be sending out yours daily? No, but he's got a philosophy that says he's going to hit them until they say yes or no. That's not what you do generally as a realtor. But I want you to understand, don't be worried about sending too much to clients. The right clients will like it. And the other clients we don't care about. I'm going to recommend you send something out at least once every other week. So whatever CRM you're using, whatever mechanism, Cesar, you want to use, and they all have the ability to do this. Some of them do it easier with automation. Some of them you don't need automation for. They're just set up that way. But I want you to understand, when it comes to this sphere of influence, that is where the majority of your business, 90% of your business is going to come from. It's not going to come because they see an ad. It's going to come because they see an ad and they end up in your CEO SOI, and then they've seen 1 or 2 or 3 things. Do you need YouTube videos? Nope, it would help. They don't know who you are. Okay? Would it be nice to have a buyer's program? My wife's got a buyer's program where she offers buyers a whole bunch of things that every agent would offer if the agent would tell you they'd offer. One thing she offers is, if you decide you want to move in the next year, I'll be happy to sell. I'll be happy to find your next house at 1% commission or 0 commission. Now you're going to sell the one that you just bought. But again, there's lots of things you can be offering people to get them to go, man, I like this person. So be aware of all of these things. They're all available to you.
Mm-hmm.
I covered a lot of ground, Cesar. Did it help?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
And now that I've overwhelmed everybody, questions?
No, I wanted to thank you too, because leads are not my problem. It's the nurturing. It's the old practice. I mean, I've still got tons of leads in a spreadsheet that I've got to filter through as to sphere of influence, who's moved on, who are agents, who's a cold lead, all that. So
let's talk about that. All the time that you spend or invest in figuring that out, generally it's more profitable to just figure out how to get more leads in. You got to have your CRM set up properly so the dispositions are accurate. But I want you to know, once they're in, the only way out is for them to opt out. In other words, don't worry about, oh, well, what about this person? What about this person? Now, should you touch them differently than a direct email? Yeah. I mean, knowing every other month, send them a text. Every month, send them a text. And there are CRMs that'll stimulate you to do that. Okay. But again, I'm going to recommend Sean Corbett. His name's spelled oddly.
I just put it in there, his YouTube trainings. He did 2 of them, you guys, out of his database. If you saw, I put in there 1 out of every 7 in his sphere did a transaction with him in the last year. That is amazing. He does 40 touches a year. And if I'm not mistaken, I hope those are the right trainings. I looked him up on YouTube. He goes into detail on what are those 40 touches that he does. So about every 3 weeks, he's touching every single person that he has a relationship with. And to move 1 out of 7, and I think he's got several hundred. Anyway, like he trained yesterday, he didn't go into the detail on it, but he talked from a high level. These 2 trainings, I think he goes into detail on what his 40 touches are. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for that, Cher, Tina, all you guys, it's definitely worth looking into. Corbett has this down. And for those that, I don't even know if he mentioned it yesterday, he works like 35 hours a week.
Yeah.
The guy does 35 million in production with his team. He's done it 4 p.m. So he's even got his clients trained for the most part, unless it's an emergency. And he talks about that. What really is an emergency? It can wait till in the morning 98% of the time. So anyway, great trainings. If you want to get quality of life while you're building your real estate business, Corbett has figured that one out.
Yeah.
Do that kind of volume, working 35 hours a week is amazing. So
He's got 3 kids, 4 kids, depending on the day. And the reality is he's there for him in the evenings and he's there for him in the weekends. And his wife's a school teacher and they've got a great life. They really do. You mentioned 35 hours a week. I want you to know, my wife and I, she just walked in. We were in a symposium on the future of AI and about a month ago, and they said that the normal efficient business person in 5 years will be working 15 hours a week physically, but their business will be working 24 hours a day. And I want you to know that I'm not asking you to go deep dive down AI. In fact, I don't want you to, because that knowledge isn't necessary yet. We're still in the 8-track tape realm of AI. Okay, we're still flip phoning. I want you to know in 2 years, everything we're talking about with AI will be completely different. And the names will be different. The companies will be different. Right now, we're talking about Grok and ChatGPT and YouTube. 2-3 years from now, I'm telling you, there will be new names. So all you really want to do is become knowledgeable in what you need, not everything else you don't. Right now, if you need share a better SOI CRM, then go get it. Cesar, the same thing, then go get it. Don't worry about all the other things with AI. Just get what you need right now, become proficient at it, and realize in 6 months it's going to get easier for everybody.
Can I just give a heads up on what I found having everything move over to from my Keller Williams CRM to KB Core at the time? It is a hot mess. I had KB Core move it. I didn't know that I could ask it. It doesn't ask you that I could add all my notes into there. So I lost all my notes. I lost, even though I had downloaded everything, they didn't transfer over. My accessibility to send them, to make phone calls, texts, and everything, they wanted everything requalified. 600 people, they wanted to have them requalified to be able to, agree to receive texts and phone calls, etc. And the ease of templating for emails, mass text, stuff like that, in comparison to what KW had, is a hot mess. I went through yesterday and looked at this stuff and I went, I'm sorry. I wished I could go back and steal some stuff from KW. That's been my biggest thing when it comes to following up on my leads and stuff like that. And the stuff in the cash cow, if you want to do bulk transactions, it goes, oh, we don't do this anymore. And I'm like, so now my note is move my funnels to KV Core Bold Trail, just so that I can start creating, to send out stuff in a newsletter to do a better job at what I'm doing, because I'm not doing a better job at, constantly touching my spear.
On behalf of all of us, we don't want you feeling the way you feel. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
And we do. Second, you're the first person, and Sean will tell you this, first person that's ever moved from KW to EXP and found something at KW, especially, were you on command back there?
Yes.
Okay, you're the one person we found that loved command. I mean, liked it, enjoyed it, and whatever. And I'm sorry you had the transitional problem, and I mean that. I'm sorry. Here's what I will tell you. Rather than trying to figure it out yourself, there are people that have been through what you're going through and can help you. And spend the time, invest the time, find one of us leaders at Freedom Team, whoever's group you're in. Mm-hmm. Let us help reach out to other people that we know, because someone's been through what you do. One of the problems we have today is ChatGPT will tell us what to do all the time. And then we do it, and then it'll take us down another rabbit hole. We'll begin to do some things. You're smiling, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
All I want to do, if I have a problem, be aware I'm different than most. All I want to do is fix that problem, then I'll learn.
Yeah.
Let me fix the problem, then I'll learn. Yeah. So right now you have a problem. Your problem is I have this, it didn't transition this. And if you can keep that encapsulated and tell enough people that story, someone will fix that story. And yes, sometimes when we moved, we left the pillowcases back at the other house.
Right.
That's what happens. But please understand, as big as that 600 is, I promise you the next 200 will produce more volume for you than the 600 you've left behind. It's just the way we have to think.
Right.
Okay? Real estate is, yes, it's very important that we continue to keep with our clients. But if you haven't been dripping on them very, very well anyway, they know 15 other realtors.
Yeah.
And so I want to keep us positive with one idea. 2026 is all about what we do between now and the end of 2025. That's what we have control over. Okay? We are not, as a industry, going to rebound in the next 12 months. We're 18 months out from a real rebound. And it will be all buyers at that point. Rates are going to come down, but until they're locked in the fives, what we were talking about earlier when I came on, people are not going to be re-stimulated until it drops below 6. And it's not likely to drop below 6 for the next 6 to 8 months. But I want you to understand what we have now is the ability to do, like you said, cash cow, to develop a whole new relationship with our clients. And that relationship is one where we're constantly the one providing them valuable information. We can do that easier now than we've ever done it before. Why? Because it's available to us and technology will deliver it. All we got to do is set up the right systems to do it. So Lydia, again, get back with whoever your leader is and let's get you efficiently fixed because you're amazing at what you do, I've heard, and we just want to help you succeed.
Oh, I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's yeah, I'll get there.
I know.
Some days, my hair's already falling out, so I can't afford to chew it, tear it out. So
I'll give you the line. Sometimes it's turning gray and some of it's turning loose.
yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah, perfect.
Deborah, Melanie, Kimberly, Cesar, anything else? Jim, Shara, Blanca, anything else that we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
Nothing here. Great call, guys.
Thanks, Miss Melanie.
Yeah, this is my first call on just kind of checking out what you guys do here. So impressed so far. Got great information.
Thank you, Deborah. And the coolest thing about this is it does make us feel like we're around a real estate conversation that isn't something you have to participate in. So be aware that if you just pop in and just listen, you'll feel living real realtors anywhere in the country, sometimes around the world, who just feel good. This is a great platform. If you haven't heard our interview with eXp's CEO, Leo Pareja, I did a week and a half ago. You've been texted it a couple of times. We highly recommend you go to the Freedom Team's YouTube site. It's there. There's amazing things there. We do have a Slack channel. We now have a Facebook page for those of us that are outdated. We went back to that. Kimberly's learning about eXp before making a move. Thank you for great info. Thank you, Kimberly. I don't know who's inviting you in, but they've done the right thing by bringing you here. I happen to be a little bit of a high-powered, animated kind of guy. And so I get real excited about talking to agents and things. I want to make sure that you've seen a real good explanation of who eXp is. There's 2 videos that do that well, very short. One's a 9-minute video. Thanks for posting that, Sean. One's a 9-minute video that's technologically driven. It just talks about all the things eXp has. This is called the Freedom Team. It's a group of 3,500 to 4,000 agents that you would be a part of because of who's sponsoring you. I do a 15-minute presentation that explains eXp through my lens. It also includes, there you go. It's all in the chat box. It also includes what the Freedom Team sort of is all about. Lastly, if you really want to see all things eXp, we have a brand new website for everybody, freedomteamsupport.com. Thanks, Bill. And on there's a calendar. Monday and Thursday, we talk about agent attraction. Tuesday, we talk about getting more transactions. And Wednesdays, today, we talk about not pulling our hair out. So, Kimberly, I hope that helps. Cesar, were you saying something?
I said that's too late.
I'm right there with you, Cesar.
Yeah. So I do have a question. Do we have another out of the normal way to market a listing, besides, I mean, MLS, blast emails, we featured on our YouTube channel. You know, I mean, I know everyone's going through the same thing, so I thought I ask, is there any other thing that we have that is different?
My answer to you is going to be this, as weird as it may sound. Normally on Wednesdays, the guy that sort of heads this up is a guy named Jeff Morrell. Within our leadership group, there's 3 or 4 of us that sell a lot of real estate and have. Then there's 3 or 4 of us that have figured out a way to get through this industry and not sold a lot of real estate, but done really well. The 3 of guys you have on here today, Bill, Eric, and Sean, Wave Sean, he's a Freedom Team guy. We're all in his group. We have found ourselves, I've been in the industry 44 years and never sold more than 5 or 7 houses in a year. But I've owned 2 brokerages and flipped 300 houses, right? So the guys that are experts and gals that are experts at selling real estate, Jeff, Tim, Kathy, Kelly, these people, they're always on here on Wednesday, but they're in a conference and not here today. Jeff runs Tuesdays. I will tell you this. If you send a message to Jeff Morrell, he will tell you the different ways he recommends. And again, normally on Wednesdays, he'd cover that, or on Tuesdays, he in Q&A to answer that. My answer to you is you know what you're doing as far as that. You said, I already send it out here, send it out here, send it out here, send it out there. I don't know. Within EXP, if you are connected to a lot of the agents in your local area, extra promoting to them is a good value. But I don't know any other platforms or in today's world, especially with social media, I'm not up to speed on that. But Cesar, we are happy to connect you with Jeff, who would give you any kind of, you can get him through Slack. He'll answer a Slack answer. You can get him. I mean, he promotes all over. He's probably on your YouTube, on your Facebook page. You ever go to Facebook, because he markets himself very, very well. But he also is incredibly helpful for all of the Freedom Team participants. Jeff has gone beyond the call of doing things for this group, and he's there to answer those kind of questions as well.
His info is on the page on freedomteamsupport.com. You can see his number, his Instagram, his Facebook, everything.
And also, we've got our new Freedom Team community on Facebook. You can go post the question there as well.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
you get a lot of response.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go get my Facebook set up through my son. I tried again for a different IP address, still didn't work. So I'm going to use his Facebook. My son doesn't use it right.
Done with you, Cesar. What are your thoughts? I mean, we icon every year, and we don't have a big team. Our goal is not to sell millions and millions and millions. We sell about 20 million a year, and we're pretty okay with it. And we have a pretty balanced life. Do you have, what are your thoughts? I mean, you already are using YouTube and doing things right. What in this market, I don't know your market, but in Texas, things have been pretty, a lot of houses, a lot of inventory. I don't know where you're at.
So we're in Las Cruces, New Mexico. We're close to Texas. El Paso, Texas, probably the closest.
Yeah. Are you seeing a lot of inventory? You're sitting there?
Yeah. I mean, for about 120,000 people, there's a lot of inventory. It's really slowed down a lot. Even though we did cap this year, but we're trying to, go to the next level. Icon would be great. So yeah, I mean, we're fairly new and we're struggling with the whole nurturing thing. So that's why, and we're also going to get the funnels.
I'll tell you what we've done. I started a Facebook group. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, but a lot of our business comes through Facebook. I started a group. I have 3,500 women in there. And some of our listings that have been sitting around, or like as soon as they come into the market, we use groups, and that gives us a lot of momentum. And we have sold houses through that. And it's like going back to the organic ways of doing things, but it has been very good for us.
How did you start that group that has 3,500 women? Is it all realtors?
Absolutely no. It's the people. I haven't, in the past, I didn't see the value of hanging out with realtors because I came from Remax and it was very, everyone did their own thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the value back then. Of course, now I've been switching my mindset about that. But I thought the money is hanging out with all the moms and their kids. And that's how I count every year because, those people are selling houses, they're divorcing, they're getting married, they have kids and all that stuff. So I started a group. I was brand new to Texas. 3 years ago, we moved here and we didn't know a soul. And we started just walking out the door and seeing where we were going to connect because it's so easy to get busy with a lot of people that that are just wasting your time. So what I did is I started just going out to different groups just to see what the vibe of the city. And then I went back and started my own group. And I have 3,500 women in there right now that are I started clubs inside of the group. So I have the moms club, the running club, all kinds of clubs. And then I just have leaders in each club and I can now market to them. And I'm the only one who markets to them. I'm the realtor of the group. And I market every week to them and just say, this group is sponsored by Sean and Blanca.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's impressive. So you just, every time you're out and about, you meet somebody, you find out if they want to be a part of the group, just a bunch of ladies interacting. How did you grow it that large? What were you doing to expand it?
I actually partnered with a woman who had a group in English market. So when I came here, I went into this group that had, I think that group has 14,000 members and a lot of them pay membership fees to be in that group. So I partnered with that woman and she has Americans, Indians, Ukrainians, whatever, Europeans, every race in that group. So I said, why don't you have a Spanish group? And she's like, well, you can do it. So that's how I started it. So they have a message that goes out to their new people every day, like every time someone comes in and says, if you speak Spanish, join this other group. So that's how it started, throwing people into that group. So now I have that relationship where I'm also sponsor of that group. And I can market as much as I want to that group with 14,000 people. Then I joined another group, a third group, where it's a local women who are really close to my house because I want to do business next to my house. And with that group, I'm always thinking, how can I be different? What can I offer that other agents that are sitting in the room are not going to have? So when I go in there and I just listen to the space, I am the last one to speak. And I want to hear what everyone is going to say when they're introducing themselves so that I can say something that the other people don't say or don't have.
Can you, first of all, that's awesome. Congrats on what you put together. Can you share what are some of those things, if you don't mind sharing? I don't put you on the spot. What you're doing to differentiate yourself as a realtor?
One of them is we don't sell ugly houses. That's what I always tell people, and it always gets them to think like we only sell pretty houses, and how well we include for every house, no matter what price range it is, we include a meeting with our designer, who is a very reputable YouTuber that has over 10,000 subscribers. So you really want her in your house, and we pay for that. And they always want to know, how in the world do you pay for that if you don't even know if the house is going to sell? And we always say our houses sell.
That's good.
And that's the beginning. That's one of the differences. We also sell in Mexico. So I am thinking every time, just like coming up with a new message when I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm going to read the room, and whoever is in the room, that's what I'm going to say. Like, I'm going to say, because if there are older women, I'm like, okay, they're probably going to be moving. If they have high school kids, they're going to be moving. They're going to be downsizing. They're going to be looking for closer to the city lifestyle. So it's just coming up with that message every single time, just being ready to introduce yourself, not the same as everybody else, but introduce myself as the need that I see in that space.
That's very interesting. With everybody on here, is there any questions that you might want to ask? Because if Blanca's iconing every year right now, and you can see what she's doing is, I don't want to say out of the norm, but you're working to a certain degree, you're working your sphere. You just happen to have a giant sphere because of these groups. My question would be, because I'm no longer selling, but you've got my wheels spinning if I was going, what would you recommend on how do you first locate those groups in your area? I'm not that Facebook savvy, but someone's right now listening going, okay, wow, I mean, I'd love to get a group started with ladies around my house or gentlemen or whatever it might be. How do you start that on Facebook? What are you going to look for?
I just look for things that I'm going to have fun with.
Okay, whatever intrigues you, because that's where your passion's at.
So I just I just brought in an agent, and she was watching me, and I said, what do you like? What are you seeing in me? Because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just doing things and things work for me, but I never like sat down to write down what I'm doing. So she said, I'm watching you and you do what you want to do. Like, you don't force yourself. You're enjoying what you're doing. And it comes through as people are attracted to what you're doing. You're not selling them anything. You're having fun. And they're attracted to the fact that you're having fun. So we're working 3 markets right now. We work in Minnesota, and it has been amazing because we moved to Texas after 23 years of living in Minnesota. I was sick of the weather, and I moved to Texas. And it was a very scary move because people were like, what are you doing? Like, you're doing so well in Minnesota. Why would you move? And I said, because I can't. Life is not about just that. So we moved, and it was a very scary first year because we didn't know anybody. Like, that's when we started. So our market in Minnesota is doing amazing. Like, we're still selling. We're doing events in Minnesota constantly so they can start being nurtured. So when people are talking about being nurtured, like how to nurture people, we're in a different market, and we're still selling Minnesota. We're still iconing through a lot of the Minnesota market while we're opening up Texas, and we're working Mexico. So we have 3 markets, and they're all doing things. Have time to go to things that I don't want to go to. So,
Blanca,
yes.
a question. ¿Es en español del Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, I asked her if it was in Spanish. So, because, I mean, I speak Spanish fluently, and we're right next to the border, about an hour drive. So, okay. I'm very curious on that, what you're doing, because I do want to start a podcast as well, but, if the Facebook thing would work better, then, I really want to think about that and see how you're doing it. Is there any way I can reach out to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. I don't think that there is, I think if you want to do the podcast, like, I don't think there is a better or worse. I think everyone is different, and you might do the podcast and it might be your thing. So I think it's good to start things and be consistent. And then from there, you're going to see if it's your thing or not.
Got it. I think with the Facebook in the community or the area, it would work better than a podcast. If I know, and I'm thinking Spanish speaking for the Facebook. So,
do you have buyers back there that are in your group? Are you doing listings, or how are you working Minnesota if you're not there?
We started a very small team. Like, we don't have a lot of people on our team. We literally have 1 buyer's agent.
Yeah.
And all of the people that always work with us, like the designer is she's always there, the photographer, all the other people, but she's so greedy, so she doesn't want us to bring more people in. So when she's getting so much business, so she's like, I will just keep going. She works like a maniac, but we could have 3 agents working in Minnesota, but she's working day and night, and our market has been booming, even while people. And at the beginning, I was like, oh, we're going to lose them. I don't want to say anything about Texas. We're going to lose them. But then I was like, how are we going to open Texas if we're not talking about Texas? So Now I don't care. I'm like, here's a house for Minnesota. Here's a house for Texas. Here's a house for Mexico. And people are just responding well to it. And our market in Minnesota, again, it's booming for us. When I don't hear other people and other agents drama, I'm like, I don't have time for that. We're doing well and we're continue to do well because we're focused and the 5% will always stand out.
Yeah, and so are you having the challenges with interest rates and buyers being hesitant? It sounds like Minnesota just popping, so you're not having that challenge, huh?
No, because we just keep addressing it before it comes up. We just keep saying like, what? Okay, and when loan officers calling out, like they call us, they're like, okay, how can you give me business? I'm like, what are you doing different? Because I'm not going to give you anything. What are you doing different than me? I'm always coming up with some new store. Like we are always coming up with new things to shock the market. What are you doing to shock your market? What am I going to tell my buyer? Why would I send them to you? So now, guys, we sent 2 families to Los Cabos. We pay for their trip.
Elaborate. How are you doing that?
We paid for our 2 families to go to Cabo. We paid for their whole week vacation in Vidanta, which is a 3-crown resort, because they send us business. They're always sending us their friends, their kids. We stay at their house when we go to Minnesota. We don't even have a house in Minnesota anymore because they're like, you can stay at our house anytime. They're a doctor and his wife. They have a beautiful house. They're like, don't go buy a house. You can stay in our house. So we stay in houses when we go, and they refer us. We're like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you were doing some incredible things, and Cesar, I think you've found the right lady to connect with. Congrats, Blanca, on what you're doing, and thank you for sharing and just being open to share all that.
Well, you're welcome. I just wanted to hop in here and see what you were doing because you've been so good at and consistent of sending those daily reminders of the meetings, and I can never come in. And today I had some time, and I'm like, I'll just see what they're doing, what they do.
Awesome. Yeah. So have you attended the other ones? You've been to the other ones, though, like Tuesday, where we do have an icon agent like yourself come in and train. You've been to some of those as well.
They don't come in, but I should, right?
Well, I tell you what, if you go to our YouTube channel, I put a link in there, right? But if you go to YouTube and just put in EXP Freedom Team, we have over 200 trainings on there now. But every Tuesday, we have someone like you that's an icon agent who comes in and trains on whatever it is they're really good at. And it's unbelievable. I mean, literally, probably everything that you can imagine covering in real estate has been covered. And now we're starting to kind of redo it, bring some of the same people back. But matter of fact, if you have never trained, we would love to have you one day. It could be 30, 60 days out if you and your husband ever wanted to come in and train, because you're talking about some things right now that are pretty unique and different. That you might come in and train on some of that. If you'd be open to it, I could connect you with Jeff one day and you could look out and maybe October, November, if you guys wanted to come in on a Tuesday. We do it at the same time, same link, every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. An icon agent comes on and trains. The first Tuesday of every month, I put it in the chat, we have Nick Krim, who is all he does, he and his brother, is AI for realtors. They've been in Forbes magazine, Fox News, all they do all day long. Matter of fact, he has almost 1,000 members that paid him $1,000 to be trained by him and keep up to date. Well, me and 3 other the leaders 2 years ago, when AI was really kicking off, we all flew down to Florida. We went and got trained by him on an AI, and obviously it's evolved so much in 2 years. But because of that, and we paid Nick money, we've got a great relationship with him. Nick comes in for free the first Tuesday of every month, and he trains on what's going on right now in AI today, not even last week, today, and constantly keeping us up to date. If you go to that YouTube channel, scroll down, you'll see his playlist. We've now got 12 of them where he's trained.
That one, and that's why I came to it, because I sent Sean to that one, my husband. I was like, there is that one. And he went last day.
Okay.
And he signed up for some program. I just know because the payment came through.
Gotcha. Yeah, Nick is phenomenal. Not to inundate everybody again. I know we're down to everybody's jumping off, and we'll wrap this up. But he started training with us about a year ago, so I think there's now 12 trainings. They're each about an hour long, but oh my gosh! I mean, a lot of times you get off there, you're like, oh wow, this is incredible. If you just took one or two of his nuggets that he taught you, You talk about saving time and doing things. There's people that have implemented some things he's taught. Literally within a couple of weeks, we've had people land $1 million listings from unique ideas and things that he teaches you with AI that makes it very automated. So anyway, if you're not, I would say real familiar with AI, but AI in relationship to realtors, that's all he trains on. So you don't get overwhelmed with all the other little shiny objects. It's AI for realtors. Anyway, it's all on our YouTube channel. Again, at 12 trainings, and he'll be back the first Tuesday of next month as well. Okay.
Well,
Well,
thank you that you do for the group. This is exciting, and one of the reasons I also came back is because, or like came into the group because I want to start recruiting and I want to start putting people in the, like bringing people to the group too.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So Monday and Thursday is focused on attraction, recruiting, sponsoring agents, whatever words you want to give it. Every Monday, I interview a big attractor at EXP, someone who probably has 200 to thousands of agents. So I interview one every single Monday morning. Thursday, the gentleman that was on here, Eric, that you know very well, Eric on Thursdays, he has a training. And the same thing we'll all learn about when it comes to attraction. It's 80% up here, right? Because this little 800-pound gorilla right now is hard to kind of pick up. So he does a lot of mindset training that you've got to figure out what's your why, because obviously everybody's plate's full. I love what Eric does because he starts off and says, look, if you truly want life to look different a handful of years from now, where you've got passive income and you start to buy your time back, well, you have to start somewhere. And he trains on 15 minutes a day. He gives you the verbiage, what you say when you're on a call. You don't have to stick with it, but it's a good foundation to build from. Make 5 calls a day, shouldn't take you but about 15 minutes. That's how you start. And as things start to evolve, maybe you find yourself 6 months later, maybe you've got 2 or 3 agents on board, maybe they've attracted 1 or 2, and you're like, you know what? Let me go to 30 minutes a day. So you take your 8, 9, 10-hour workday and go, can you find 15 minutes and make it consistent? I think you're the one who said the word consistent. If you started making calls every day for 15 minutes a day and had at least 5 agents to
Hello,
call,
this is Caesar.
watch what happens
El
over the
Paso
next
Hospital
90 days.
Liaison Committee.
I think that's, see, anyway, feel free to come, Blanca, back on Monday and Thursday.
Learn from you guys on recruiting and attracting. Thank you so much.
You bet. You bet. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging. Thank you for all the participation. Thank you for pouring into the group, Blanca. And anyway, we're just excited about what's going on, guys. There's been a lot of great info in regards to the rates and what we can do. So thank you guys for participating. We'll obviously be back here next Wednesday. Tomorrow is Eric Golden leading on attraction. And Blanca, if you're really starting from scratch, jump on there with Eric. He's so good at kind of helping you lay the foundation on how to get this whole started. And also on our Freedom Team channel, that YouTube channel, if you go there and you do the EXP Freedom Team, open it up and then do a search for Tim Hollenden, Hollinden. Tim has done a training twice on 6 different ways to generate your list of agents to start calling on. And obviously, some of them are very obvious. Start with who you've done a transaction with, who you know they're in your market that would know you by first name. Now, it sounds like you're pretty spread out. So you got contacts probably everywhere. But anyway, that's another place to start. But jump on tomorrow, and Eric can definitely help you kind of get the ball rolling on what you could be doing on a daily basis to start attracting. And we're all here to help you with it as well.
Well,
Okay?
you know what? Sometimes you know what to do. Like it's just logical.
Yeah.
But somebody to remind you or like to put them in like a bullet point.
You bet. You bet. Yeah, absolutely. So again, thank you, Leanne, as always. Thank you for showing up here, dear. You come almost every single time. Blanca, great to see you. Love to have you in the mix as much as you can participate. You've got a lot of value to add. So the rest of you guys, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Everybody have a great day, and feel free to jump on tomorrow if you're looking to do some attraction. All
Thanks,
right. Thank you, gang. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.